Are you still struggling to get KOS-MOS? Well, it's all because of this. Yeah, this is going to need some explaining. So what you just saw is the algorithm that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 calculates every time you summon a blade, but the outcome of this algorithm isn't even the end of it. We'll talk more about that later after we've covered a few things that will help everyone make sense of it all. There are 5 variables that go into determining which blade you'll pull, and they are a blade's base probability, core crystal rarity, the idea cloud, the luck stat, and a pity timer. Let's go through these one by one to truly understand how this immensely complicated system works and in which ways we can exploit it, if any. Let's start with base probability. You think this one would be pretty simple, and that's where you'd be wrong, because even this seemingly simple property has a layer of RNG. What you see on the screen right now is each blade's base probability, but what you will notice is there are 5 groups, and that's because when you first start the game and the save file is created, it randomly puts that save into a group. What this means is that your base probabilities are probably different to your friends, and it explains why there are so many differing anecdotes about which blades were the rarest. As you can see, with a few exceptions like KOS-MOS, rarity all comes down to which group your save was assigned. Save group also determines how the pity timer works, and we can actually use the pity timer to narrow down which group we are in, but more on that later. Also, any blades not listed in the chart have a base probability of 1.0. These would generally be blades that are obtained from quests but can be released afterwards, allowing you to resummon them from cores. It appears as if they just have standard or placeholder probabilities because it was likely never intended that you'd release these blades. The next variable is core crystal rarity. A common core crystal has a value of 1, which means it has no multiplying effect. It's obviously possible to summon a rare blade with a common core crystal, but it doesn't improve your chances at all. A rare core crystal has a value of 1.5, while a legendary crystal has a value of 3. A core crystal has one other effect, outside of multiplying the base probability. The algorithm I showed you at the start isn't the final determining step. What it does is calculate whether or not a rare blade will enter the pool for the final summon. If a rare blade is added to the pool, you then have a 25% chance to actually summon it with a common core crystal, while both rare and legendary core crystals guarantee you will get the rare blade if it was added to the pool by the algorithm. Essentially, it means that the effective chance increase on rare and legendary core crystals are much higher than the 1.5 and 3.0 values they are assigned, because they also remove the 1 in 4 chance you would have had with a common crystal. The luck stat is an easy one. The formula is up on screen, but breaking it down to basics means that the luck multiplier ranges from 1.0 to 1.36. It's a relatively small effect, which also backs up anecdotal evidence from the community that luck didn't seem to do much for their chances. The idea cloud, on the other hand, is a tricky one. You might have already known that each idea represents 2 elements of rare blades. Bravery is fire and water, truth is ice and wind, compassion is earth and lightning, and justice is light and shadow. What you probably didn't know was that only your highest value idea is applied as a multiplier. So if your idea cloud is 5, 5, 6, 5, only earth and lightning blades are getting a multiplier bonus. The values for all other ideas are essentially 0. If you have more than one idea at the same value, the game chooses one at random. However, if you use a booster, that idea is always the one the game applies a multiplier to, even if it isn't the highest value. Boosters are essentially an override. The formula for the idea cloud is on screen. It can provide up to a 1.75 multiplier. Finally, we come to the pity timer. For those unfamiliar with the term, what it means is that there is a system in place that ensures you get a rare blade after a certain amount of attempts without getting one. You could be the unluckiest person in the whole world and you're still guaranteed at least 3 rare blades. Your save files group determines which rare blade you have access to via the pity system. Group 1 contains Godfrey, Agate, and Boreas. Group 2 is Percival, Azami, and Adenine. Group 3 is Gorg, Perun, and Electra. Group 4 is Cora, Nim, and Finch. And finally, Group 5 gets Vale, Ursula, and Floren. The pity blades for each group mostly correlate with those blades having a lower base probability when compared with other groups. For example, Group 1 has Godfrey as a pity blade while also having a very low base of 0.63 compared to Godfrey's much higher base probabilities of up to 2.19 in groups 3, 4, and 5. The way it works is that each time you fail to summon a rare blade, points are added to your pity timer based on the core you used. Common cores will add 5 points, rare cores 25 points, and legendary cores add a very substantial 50 points. You get your first guaranteed pity blade once your timer reaches 100 points. You'll then need to accrue another 200 points before getting your second, and a further 300 for the third. Each time you get a rare blade, your pity timer is reset to 0, whether it's a pity blade or a natural lucky summon. So you'd need to accrue 600 points total to get your 3 guaranteed blades by pity alone. We can use the knowledge of this pity timer to narrow down or even identify with certainty which group your save file is in. The easiest way would be to choose the chronological sorting option in the blade menu. This will show you your summoned blades in the order that they were summoned. If you take a look at your first 10 summoned blades, you can make an educated guess at your group by looking for a complete group of pity blades, and then checking the base probability rates of the other blades you see in your top 10. So if you sorted chronologically and saw that Gorg, Perun, and Electra were all in your top 10, you could take a look at the chart and see if any of the other blades in your top 10 have high base probabilities in group 3. If you see Boreas, Cora, and Finch among your top 10 as well, it's a safe bet to say that your save is in group 3. There is also a little interesting interaction here that could have implications on the speedrunning scene, if indeed there is one for this massive game. You are able to discover which group you are in with absolute certainty as soon as you get the ability to summon blades on a brand new file, assuming you have purchased the expansion pass. The expansion pass comes with several useful item packs, and among them is a stipend of legendary cores. You only need 2 legendary cores to trigger your first pity blade, and since none of them overlap, you will immediately know which group your save is in, which would then allow you to reset if you preferred another group due to easier builds, min-maxing, or just simply preference. And that wraps up all the mechanics that go into frustrating the hell out of us trying to get our last rare blades. There is something to mention here too. We now have conclusive proof that new rare blades become harder to summon as you get more of them, since the algorithm has more hits when there are more rare blades available to add to the pool. However, there was a theory or suggestion put forth that you should release rare blades to increase your odds at brand new ones, which unfortunately isn't the case. So for example, if you really wanted KOS-MOS, somebody might have told you to release a bunch of rare blades like Azami, Gorg, Perun, or whatever, and while the algorithm would have a better chance at a hit in this scenario, it doesn't increase your odds at all for KOS-MOS specifically, since each rare blade has its own base probability. It's far more likely you'd just resummon the blades you released. The most important thing to take out of this, if you are trying to get your final few rare blades, is that you should stack as much luck as you can, always use boosters that are relevant to your desired blade's element, and try and stick to rare and legendary core crystals as much as possible. You don't want that algorithm to align only to lose the 1 in 4 thanks to a common core. Finally, I would like to give a shout out to Discord user Moose Hunter, who is the source for all of this DATAMINED info. Without his diligent work, we'd still be playing the guessing game. So thanks, Moose Hunter. And speaking of thanks, you could show me yours by hitting the like button. Also subscribe to see more content like this, check out the links in the video description to help support the channel, and join the conversation in the comments section. Have a good day or night, and I'll see you all soon.